Hello readers! How are you today? Today, Miss Vanya will show you a book. The title is The Bear and the Beast. This book is written by Ella Richardson and Lydia Monks. The Bear and the Beast. Our story begins with your imagination. Now, imagine a world full of black and yellow creatures that fly above your head. Bees! Yes, but not normal bees. These bees can talk, and not only can they talk, but they also go to school. Look at the bee school. Now, this world may be unique in itself, but the creatures living in it aren't so unique. Actually, they're all exactly the same as each other. And all of these buzzing bees have the same name too. They're all called busy, every single one of them. Imagine being in school when the teacher takes the register if you all have the same name. How would you know when it's your name being called out? How confusing would that be? Well, that's what happens to these bees every day. One ordinary Monday, the younger bees were gathered in the playground. Some were buzzing with the latest gossip, while others played hide and buzz. Zzz. All of a sudden, a big brown, hairy creature strolled into the playground. It was a bear. The bees buzzed loudly and flew here and there in a panic. "Hey guys!" the bear spoke softly. "My name is Grazel. Don't be afraid. It's my first day here." The bees stared in shock at the bear. "This isn't the right school for you," one bee buzzed crossly. "You're different. You don't have stripes like us, and I bet you can't fly," a second bee argued. "And he's not even called Busy," a third bee joined in. "We don't like people who are different. Go away." Grazel's face fell. "Does it matter if I'm different?" he asked. The answer was obviously yes, because the bees flew away into their classrooms, ignoring his question. Giant tears fell from Grazel's giant eyes and splashed onto the playground. But one bee had stayed behind, the smallest bee in the whole school. Comforting Grazel, the bee spoke. There! I think it's a good idea being different. It's boring when everyone's the same." Grazel smiled as the kind little bee gave him an idea. The rest of the day zoomed past. Some of the bees made nasty remarks as Grazel walked by and giggled behind his back. But Grazel didn't care. He had a plan, a good one too. All he needed was imagination, which he sure had already. The next day, the bees gathered in the playground as normal. But then Grazel strolled in. He looked very different from the day before. Look! He had yellow and black stripes painted on him and had wings tied to his back. The crowd went quiet and glanced at one another. Then one young bee piped up. "You look so stupid," he said. "Bears don't have wings," shouted another bee. "And your stripes look silly." "Ha ha ha!" The other bees laughed. Everyone laughed, but they soon stopped as Grazel started chuckling too. "You laughed at me because I'm different," he said. "But when I look the same as you still laughed at me. I am different, and I'm happy being a bear. There's nothing wrong with being different." The bees paused for a moment and thought about what Grazel had just said. Then the smallest bee started cheering and shouted, "Hooray for Grazel!" And the other bees thought, "I'd like to be different." A big bee said, "I'm going to go purple." "And I'm going to change my name to Basil," another exclaimed. The next morning, the playground was more cheerful than it had ever been. All the bees were brightly colored and were buzzing about, trying to learn the new names they had each given themselves. Zzz, look at the bees. Grazel looked around and smiled. He thought to himself that it's okay to be unique. It's okay to be you. It takes a brave bear to be different. This engaging and imaginative tale is written by a 12-year-old girl, namely Ella Richardson, and illustrated by Lydia Monks. This story teaches us about differences, and it's okay to be different. That's all my read aloud today. Thank you for listening to the story. Have a great day, everyone. See you. Bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe.